Here we go, all staged up, ready for street night at Winterport Drag Strip. We're gonna put in some test and tune time here. For those that have been watching the build, obviously the gas tank is missing. A couple of other things have been changed around. We've got it on a riser. The reason for that is because that gas tank was insanely heavy. Weight is everything in drag racing, and just for the curiosity's sake, I drained everything that was in the dragster from the last race into this. Then I dumped off from this into the new tank so that we can see exactly how much weight that we ended up losing. Now granted, the new tank probably weighs an ounce or two, but it's plastic, it's tiny, and I can't overload it with extra fuel I really actually didn't need. So we're down 5 plus a little extra. We dumped 5 pounds off of it. Also, there's going to be a video coming out where we do a governor delete, we do a rattlesnake cam, and we put 22-pound valve springs in, minus 5 pounds. That's where we're going to start with today. We ended the last time with small exhaust, the air filter, the zip tie governor delete. We got 38 miles per hour. Now, that ended up with 15.3 for a time. I think this governor delete with Rattlesnake, we're gonna probably do the same speed, but I wanna see if we drop our time any.
Basically, you can't have the buy run until everybody else said the buy run.
I gotta figure out what's going on, because somehow we ended up slower. I ended up with some sort of jitter, and I think it's this jack shaft having issues. We're gonna take it up, we're gonna run it out through one more time, but I think my jack shaft might have hit the end of its playtime. Well, I think we figured out part of the problem. See, every engine bolt and all of the mounting bolts were loose. I blame you. You're the pit crew. You're supposed to double check that stuff. It's your fault. Huh? Look at that cute little set of head cover and earphony things. Aren't you so cute? Okay, now this baby happens to be happier now. We finally got it going down through. Apparently when you bolt things down, they work a lot better. So we won that against our friend out there. We got a 14.6 for a time at 39.57. We're gonna round that up to 40 just for the sake of it. So we've got a governor delete with the Rattlesnake cam, 22-pound springs, 40 miles per hour using a, ironically, 40-tooth rear sprocket. So that works pretty good. Guys, check this out. The mini bike crowd in Maine at Winterport Drag Strip is growing. We've got a Hemi Predator here. We gotta go and get some jets in this bugger and get it going a little bit better. I don't think he's got any internal work to it, but this thing is a monster. It's still a work in progress, unfortunately. But now, what is the engine? Is it a Predator 670?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Essentially, it's just running a centrifugal with a jack shaft.
You're running a centrifugal on a 22 horsepower engine?
The only reason I'm running is because I heard some lawnmower guys were running these Norams. The Noram I have over here at like 40 horsepower.
Oh, you've got a Noram. Okay, well that might hold it, but yeah, this thing is bonkers. Unfortunately not running right today, but I can't wait to see this thing up and running once it's fully finished. This new setup is giving me a lot of quibble right now. I'm gonna have to put some sort of block retainer on it. As you can see, that's just 2 runs already loose. Hopefully we don't jump it out while we're racing on this guy, otherwise he'll win by default. Okay, we won. Unfortunately, we can't see what my competitor did because it was on the wrong timing tree. We got 39.3 at 15. I think that's the last time I help a competitor by teaching them to put a zip tie in the governor spring because he almost beat me. But yeah, we're doing pretty good. We're going to check that Insta360 footage to see what we ended up with. I'm hitting 5,800 RPM at this point, which is really good on a stock rod. Well, I ended up unfortunately losing, but I actually got the fastest mile per hour and fastest time I've ever actually gotten on this thing. One side note on this, I think there's something about the Rattlesnake in this setup because it does not like 2,800 RPM. And this dude over here on this bike is gonna go and beat me on the next round, I believe. He keeps coming around here. I think you want to race, don't you? No, you don't? Oh, okay. There we go. We got the win on that one because we got a decent reaction time finally. There we go. One more round. The other guy we know does 46 miles per hour. Question is whether my time is faster. Hi guys. Whoops. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump you. Hi guys, so we finished out the race. We got second place. There's not much you can do against a guy who freight trains you at 48 miles per hour at the end of his run. It just is what it is. He's running a Ghost with a few little tweaks here, and he has eliminated his jack shaft entirely and is running an upgraded clutch, I think. We're gonna do the torque converter now. I know you guys want to see the exhaust change, but I'm jumping chain big time, and I need to switch to the torque converter and just be done with this. So, we're gonna get that done. They're getting towards the end of the night. We're fighting against the clock to get this done. I already preemptively set this up, planned it out, should theoretically be a slap it on. This is the cheap VEVOR that's on Amazon. But we are not running the VEVOR belt. We already ordered up a BLACKHORSE belt, and we also ordered up the Gates belt. This one Gates belt costs as much as 3 BLACKHORSE belts. So we're gonna try a BLACKHORSE first. If we slip it too much, we'll try the Gates belt. Get a torque converter, they said. It'll be way faster with a torque converter, they said. I think in all honesty, it could be faster with a torque converter, but the sad part is we only went 40.5 and we actually lost time. We were 14.9 seconds. And my reaction time was pretty well the same one it's been the entire time. The other thing, I'm gonna have to go back on the Insta360 footage and double check for 5 seconds, is that I don't think the engine ever actually got out of about 3,000 RPM for some reason. So I don't know whether the torque converter caused that or whether I'm starting to see signs of the fact that I really should be running a billet connecting rod. But also, the chain is jumping at about 2,000 RPM to about 3,600 RPM. For some reason, it's got an every other chain jump. So I gotta sort out what in the world's going on with that, because that gets dangerous really quick. Especially on these Colemans, because the rear gear, the bolts go through, and if the chain jumps to the inside, it can bind up right directly on the bolts and stop you dead flat. So, we're gonna figure out what's up with the chain, then try one more run. Between the sun going down and the angle, I know that this is a horrible video clip, but I'm trying to catch the torque converter in action and call out the RPMs as I come up through in order to see if we can figure out what's going on with this thing. There's only just so many hours in the day, especially if you decide to join a racing group. Daddy got second place. Okay, fine, be that way. You don't cheer for me anymore. I see how it is. How about you? They're a good cheerleader. Okay, so we didn't get to do our list really like we were hoping, but that's life. We did get the torque converter on there. And we made a second run just barely at the end of the day, which has us at 40.58, 40.82, 14.9, and I cut a really pretty decent light for me, 14.5. Did the torque converter make us faster? I hate to say it, but it actually did. Now, did it make us faster the 6 to 5 miles per hour that most of YouTube claims? I would say no, it really honestly didn't. But in the comment section, let's have an argument. Do you think the reason the torque converter is such a difference for most YouTubers is because they have stuff like a Mod 2 cam and a flywheel and stuff like that? And when they convert over from the clutch to the torque converter, it's a big deal, because once we went to torque converter, we couldn't hit 6,000 RPMs. We were hitting 6,000 up here. Now, if I admit that I cheated, if I remove that torque converter and I freewheel that engine, she punches 6,000 without even flinching. We already did this down the driveway a couple of times, so I knew what was coming up. So you guys tell me, all those guys that are sitting there saying that their change to a torque converter gained them 5 to 6 miles per hour, do you think it was the engine upgrades working with the torque converter? Or do you think it's because track conditions and road and gravel conditions are different? I'm not sure. But give another big shout out for John, who did a bunch of filming from the far side of the fence. And Jessie, if you saw starting line footage, that was Jessie while she was dealing with him as a basket case on the front of her. We need a camera for you somehow. You got to earn your keep. Come on. Boy, you have the most dead doornail face going on right now. Will you give me a smile? Everybody's going to think you hate me if you don't smile at me. Yeah, you're just so overtired. Okay, John. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And say thank you, Winterport Drags, for letting us be dumb on mini bikes.
Thank you, Winterport Drags, for having us be dumb on mini bikes.
That's right.